My name is Adam, and this is the strangest thing that ever happened to me. It all started on a rainy Monday evening. I was 16 years old and lived in a small town. Like many students, I spent most of my time with school, homework, and my phone. Nothing exciting ever happened in my life. At least, that was what I thought. One day, after school, I went to my grandfather's old house. My parents wanted to clean the place because no one had lived there for years. While cleaning the attic, I found an old wooden box covered with dust. Inside the box, there were some old photographs, a broken watch, and a small black notebook. On the first page, I saw something strange. It said, "To the person who finds this notebook, follow the instructions carefully. Trust no one until you reach the end." I laughed. Someone must have written this as a joke, I thought. But curiosity got the better of me. I turned the page. There was only one sentence: "Go to the old library before sunset." I was surprised. The old library had been closed for many years. Most people had forgotten about it. For some reason, I decided to go. When I reached the building, the place looked dark and abandoned. The windows were dirty, and the front door was locked. I was about to leave when I noticed another message written inside the notebook. "Look behind the third pillar." My heart started beating faster. I walked carefully and found a small key hidden behind a broken brick. Now, I was no longer laughing. I unlocked the back door and entered the library. Everything was covered with dust. Old books were lying everywhere. Then I noticed another message. "Second floor, room 12. I slowly climbed the stairs. The wooden floor made strange noises. Room 12 was at the end of the hallway. As I opened the door, I found an old desk. On the desk was an envelope with my name written on it. My name. I froze. How was that possible? With shaking hands, I opened the envelope. Inside was a letter. It read, "Adam, if you are reading this, you have already shown something important: curiosity." I was shocked. The letter continued, "This notebook belonged to your grandfather. He created this treasure hunt many years ago. He wanted to give it to someone who never stopped asking questions." I smiled. My grandfather had always loved puzzles. But the letter wasn't finished. "There's one final challenge. Find the clock that never moves." I looked around the room. There was an old clock hanging on the wall. Its hands were stuck at 9:15. I removed the clock from the wall. Behind it was a small safe. My hands were shaking again. I quickly checked the notebook. The next page showed only four numbers: 9, 1, 5, 7. I entered the numbers. Click. The safe opened. Inside, I expected to find money or gold, but there was something much more valuable. There was a diary and another letter. The letter said, "Dear Adam, if you have reached this point, I am probably no longer with you. But I want you to remember something. People spend their lives searching for treasure, but the greatest treasure is knowledge. Books changed my life. Learning changed my life. Never stop learning, never stop dreaming, and never let failure stop you. Success belongs to those who keep trying. Love, Grandpa." Tears filled my eyes. Suddenly, all the mystery made sense. This was never about money. It was about a lesson. For the next few weeks, I read every page of my grandfather's diary. I learned about his dreams, his struggles, and how he had failed many times before becoming successful. One sentence stayed in my mind forever: "A person who learns every day becomes stronger every day." From that day, I changed. I stopped wasting hours on meaningless things. I started reading books. I worked harder at school, and slowly, my life began to change. 3 years later, I graduated as one of the top students in my school. People often asked me, "Adam, what changed your life?" I always smiled, because the answer was hidden inside an old black notebook. And sometimes, when life becomes difficult, I open my grandfather's diary again, and I remember his words: "The greatest treasure is not gold, it is knowledge." And honestly, I think he was right.